Hello guys, so I saw all the different mod posts, all the different modification posts for the PS4 controller, and I decided that why not? Maybe I should do it myself. I obviously have zero spray painting experience. I'm actually not very crafty at all. I'm actually kind of bad at making crafts and stuff like that. But my girlfriend is very good at it, and I figured, why not do something? I used to build models, and models were fairly easy, and they were definitely pleasant things to do. So I decided that why not make my own customized PlayStation 4 controller? So here it is. Just like that, I made it. It took me a little bit to do it, actually. I saw the post on Sunday, I believe, and I figured that I'm going to start doing it. I looked on Amazon, and on Amazon I had to buy 6 packs of all the paint and the primer, which are actually right over there. And there are the gummies, of course. But I didn't really feel like paying out $80 on all the paint supplies and the sandpaper and having to deal with the shipping because some of them weren't going to ship for about a week. So what I did is I went to Ace on Monday and I brought these 3 wonderful paint things. So what we have here is Krylon Fusion. This is the satin white one. I got it from Ace for like $6. But then I found out that I could have gotten for like $4.50 at Walmart. So there you go. You just go to the do-it-yourself section. It'll be in the paint on Walmart, or it'll be in the paint section of your local Ace store. Somebody mentioned a post that they wanted to see something limey. Well, not limey. I think they said neon green. But at the time, my brain interpreted neon green as key lime. So there you go. I got a Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2-time Ultra Cover. It worked a lot better than I expected. And of course, last, I needed the clear UV protection from Krylon Fusion. Now, the other post, I don't really remember who made the post really anymore, mentioned the fact that I need, what was it, adhesion multiplier? Not adhesion multiplier, it was like color adhesion. I don't really remember the name, but I went to the Ace store and they told me that I don't need well, first of all, they didn't even know what it was, so I said it's like sort of a primer, and they told me that these things don't require a primer because somewhere in this text over here it does say that it will act as its own primer or something. Anyways, the guy at the Ace store told me, oh yeah, and by the way, this is pinged by my girlfriend. The guy at Ace told me that it basically melts the plastic and the color stays, so you don't need a primer. I didn't really believe him, but it worked out pretty well. Of course, I also needed to go to Walmart this morning and use gloves because I was using socks for my hands, and actually it worked pretty well, but some of the strings attached to the controller, but after the paint dried I was able to pull the strings out with minimum damage, which I was actually surprised. These paints are very sturdy indeed, but definitely the hardest part was getting the screwdrivers to get these screws out of the back. Here you can actually see how it's all white? Yeah, that's because I stripped the screws completely trying to find the proper screwdriver. I went to the Ace store and I got these bad boys because at the Ace store they didn't have any screwdrivers except these, and he said that this one would work because apparently these are custom screws or something. And if this doesn't work, then I'm not really supposed to be breaking open the PS4 controller anyways, and I'm doing bad things. And that didn't really make sense to me because everybody else is doing it, so clearly it's doable. And I was using 3/8 flathead, I believe, and it was working fine at the time for me, so I knew it was possible. It's just the screwdriver I had at the time was terrible. So once again, I went to Sears and I got these awesome screwdrivers. They were about $8, I believe, and they did the job fine. Even though the screws were completely stripped, I was still able to use this little screwdriver and get it open. First thing I did, of course, you will see in the pictures. I'm actually probably gonna do a video either today or tomorrow whenever I have my girlfriend to hold a camera for me. Obviously this is a terrible camera. This is a Galaxy Nexus. It's not very camera friendly, good for camera, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, first step I did, of course, is I took this wonderful sandpaper. It is definitely, the post said use 1,000 grain or whatever. I used 500 because I couldn't find 1,000. And you'll see in the pictures how I basically smoothed it down. But I left a couple of spots open on the controller because I wanted to see what would happen if I didn't use the sandpaper, because to me I thought the sandpaper would be completely useless. I was basically right. There's really no point in sandpapering. You may do it yourself if it makes you feel better. After that, I washed it in soap. Just used Irish Spring soap. I know it's terrible soap to actually use for plastics. I don't know. You know what I mean. It's got all those other crap that's good for your skin, not generally good for plastics. But I used it anyways, and I let it dry for about an hour. I did not use any paper towels or cloth towels because I didn't want the hair to stick to it, or the fibers and the towel to stick to the controller and ruin anything. After that, I used at the bottom down here, I'll show you tomorrow basically. It has these things that hold the screws in place, these screws. There's basically these things that go all the way down to the controller on both sides, and it's very easy to just put your gloves on and hold it by those things. You'll never have to touch the outside with the gloves or anything. There's really no good reason to touch anywhere on the controller once you washed it, because like I said, there's tons of things to grab onto underneath. Even if you want, you can grab onto this bar right here. I mean, it's completely hidden from view. But after I did that, I waited an hour for it to dry until it was completely dry. It took me an hour. And the first thing that I did, as you will see, I used this thing and I sprayed the entire thing this color. Okay? And I did about 5 coats. I totally overkilled it. And over here, I did a terrible job, and it looked like basically this right here. It's really hard to see because it's a terrible camera. But I was afraid that it wouldn't work. And what I did is I took sandpaper and I sanded it down, and I put masking tape. I used this blue masking tape right here, which I also got from Walmart. It's just painter's tape. And I put it on the side here, and I stuck it on, and I tried to do my best. But you can't see it in the video. Oh, there you go. You can see it. The camera focus. You see how the lines aren't very smooth. And I did my best to use the tape, like to have it completely stick. But it's still like bled through. So obviously I need to find a better way than use this blue tape for this. After I did that, of course, I sprayed it with white paint, sprayed everything in white paint. I waited 2 minutes between coats. I did probably 4 coats of white paint. It's hard to see, but this side is a little bit greenish. It's barely visible. And you see the damage was done here. I'll talk about that damage later. I waited 2.5 hours between putting on the green coat and applying the white coat. I use this right here for the white coat, satin, you know, white, as you can see by the top. And after 2.5 hours, I sprayed using this clear UV protection. It's clear. And what I did is I took this thing, and as I was spraying, I was holding the controller with my hand, and I was spraying and I was moving the controller through the mist about a foot away. So basically what was happening is I was moving, it was sort of like this cloud was just sitting there of this, you know, fusion thing. And I was just moving the controller through to make sure that it got all the angles. And I did about 5 coats of that. Okay, so I did 5 coats of green. Because of the time I thought this whole controller was going to be green. I didn't think of doing white. I only did white like last second. And I did about 3 coats of white. I waited 2.5 hours, and I did the Krylon Fusion for Plastics, the clear coat. Now, I was very worried because the paint felt sticky at the time. But after I applied this thing, it actually made the paint feel really smooth and you know, it just basically feels like the original controller. It's really weird. It doesn't make sense. Except right here where I didn't apply enough of it, I guess, and it feels kind of weird. It feels, I don't know. Well, actually, let me show you. The PS3 controller feels exactly like this. So it's amazing, really. After that, I waited about 2 hours, which is definitely not enough. Okay, the whole controller had no issues, no blemishes. It was just, it looked professional and amazing. And I wanted to put this video out as fast as I could. So, you know, you're supposed to let it sit for 24 hours. I obviously didn't do that. This is what happens. I damaged it here. Over here, I'll show you in the photos, but it's pretty badly damaged. And this part is also pretty badly damaged. Like, you can see the green sticking out and my fingerprints are all over it. So you definitely want to wait like 24 hours before you start putting the controller on. But I did all this. I didn't screw in the back because I am definitely resanding this and repainting this all. Like, it was really fun. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow. I'm gonna redo the entire thing. But let me just show you what happens. So I have my controller here. Oh, holding it, Steam comes on. Oh, you can see that, damn it, okay, maybe you can't see. You can see that everything's just working. Let me do that. Shit, not quite. Settings, pressing A, controller, A, and edit. And I ran through this entire thing and basically all the buttons are working flawlessly. So there's that. I don't know about the touchpad. I know that the clicking works, but I don't know if the movement works, and there's no way for me to test it. But it does feel kind of weird. I think I didn't put it in correctly because the bottoms just feel off. Like the top clicks normally, but the bottoms are, I mean it clicks, but it just feels really weird. I don't know, all the other buttons work flawlessly. They're not sticking. The clicks work, you know. All the triggers work fine. See, you can hear them snap, clicking, clicking. Yeah, so that's that. I will try my best to put out a video tomorrow showing how I did all of this. But this is my first video, if you can't tell. Like, I'm doing a terrible job talking. I don't even know how to upload it to YouTube, but I'll try my best, you know. It's a learning experience. Overall, this project was very fun. Don't forget your screwdrivers. Don't forget your gloves. Don't be like me and have it take 2 days because you're running from Ace to Sears just trying to grab random crap. And it was definitely fun. It took me back to my memories of painting as a little kid. And one more thing, when you spray these spots, there's going to be paint stuck in between because of, I don't know, maybe you apply too much paint, or maybe that's just how paint works. If only people could stop messaging me on Facebook. But eventually, it will all go away. Okay. Your paint will look terrible. Well, it's not going to look terrible, but you're going to be afraid because it's going to feel weird and it's going to look weird. This thing right here is magic, okay? It fixes everything. After I sprayed it, this all went away. There was some paint like coming down the side there. I thought I was going to have to take a knife or sandpaper and scrape it out. No, just worked flawlessly after I put that thing on. It like melts it away or something. I don't know what it does. But yeah, don't be afraid if hairs get stuck. I accidentally got dust into this side right here and it was sticking out and it just looked terrible. The paint dries and you can pull it out within like 30 minutes of applying the coats of paint. It's amazing. So yeah, just don't be afraid, just do it. I'll write down the directions for you and I'm gonna take I mean, you can watch other people take apart the controllers, but I'll try my best to take it apart and do the video where I actually paint it. Like I said, it shouldn't be this hard, like I'm retarded when it comes to painting or anything artistic, but you literally just take this stuff, put it a foot away, hold this thing wearing gloves like a foot away, you spray this and you just move the controller around and it's going to do it. Remember, you do light coats and 5 of them, or you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as it takes to work for it to look good. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. Don't just sit there for 5 minutes spraying it nonstop. It's going to make it look bad. Do a light coat. It's not going to be completely covered. Do another coat. It'll be more covered. By the 3rd coat, it'll be completely done. I'm definitely repainting this tomorrow because I didn't wait 24 hours and like it's scratched up right here and right here. but I'm obviously redoing it, and it was a lot of fun. And hopefully I can actually do some more controllers, because I really enjoy doing this. Hopefully, like, some of my friends want a paint job, and I'll do the paint job. So, all right, well, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.